Well, let me start. So everybody be here at 2:15. Number one, don't forget, put it on your calendar right now, September 22nd, Wednesday, is Storytelling in September. And really, it's our most important date because it's when we get to tell our stories. So put it on your calendar, Wednesday, September 22nd, an 8-minute story that you've practiced beaucoup times.
Peggy?
Yes.
Will that be via Zoom?
Yeah, it'll be a Zoom.
Okay.
That means if you go over your 8 minutes, you're going to get cut off. So don't do it. Keep within your 8 minutes.
Yeah, stick within your 8 minutes. So, and if you practice, you will know when it's 8 minutes. So make sure you practice, because this is something that we're really proud of. People love it. And we're the ones that do it in the village. We're, as far as I know, we're the only ones. So, yeah.
And it will be, once it's edited, the MP4, the recording will be sent to the Channel 6 people, and they will show it on whatever time they tell me, and I will share it with you as soon as they tell me the time.
So how cool is that? You become a famous storyteller in the village and maybe beyond. So,
and of course, we'll also be on YouTube for anybody who misses the village showing. It'll be on YouTube. I will be sending you the link, and
cool.
You can share it everywhere.
Wow. Wow. So start sending me your interest. Because, of course, our time is limited. Not all 44 of us can tell a story. So I think we'll limit it to about 8 storytellers. So if you plan to tell a story, let me know.
Can I just provide a quick news item?
Sure.
I never knew her when she was in the club. We were like ships in the middle of the, whatever the expression is. But I think some of you know or knew Jill Amadio, who moved back to Westport, which is where I am now. And I just want to let you know, she has a new book out that she self-published that was written up today in a local blog. Just Google her name, and it's some kind of fiction mystery, and she already is getting some very good reviews on Amazon. So for those of you who were friendly with Jill, you might want to check it out.
Well, she's from Cornwall, which is where my ancestors are from. Yeah, she's a good writer. And talk about plugs. Phil, do you have your book to show? Phil's book, The Boomer's Back, is very entertaining.
Movie and the what?
Well, the one I was reading is The Boomer's Back. And Marcia's book, My Babies, My Promises, Journey of My Soul, is page turner.
That's
I
mine.
mean, Nancy's book. Because it occurred to me since Marcia spoke up, so that I could. No,
I thought there was another Marcia in the club.
These senior moments. We can always blame a senior moment. But anyway, Nancy's.
Peggy, oh, I'm sorry.
page turn. Yes,
Thank you,
I'm
Peggy.
sorry, I didn't interrupt.
go
I
ahead.
bought Scott's book, which I reviewed, and I'm reading. 5 stars. This one is really great. It's a travelogue, and this is probably my latest. This is about 44 pages. I worked on this for 5 years to get it right. $4, folks. $4. Thank you.
So,
Ruby and Lee, the musical. It's got singing. It's really like Chicago, or what's the movie with Liza Minnelli? The one from '72, Cabaret. It's got a feeling, the atmosphere of Cabaret, Chicago, and YouTube. Figure that out. But I hope everybody checks that. $1.99, I think.
and Kennedy, right?
Peggy, can people put some of these titles in chat so we can copy them? I didn't get the name of the first one that was mentioned.
Yeah, that would be good.
Oh, right. Yeah. Could,
Use the chat, guys. Use
Just put it in chat.
okay, perfect. Everybody put it in chat. Talk about that. I'll talk a minute. I'd like to give up the presidency of the publishing club next year. And so if you're interested, let us know. And I'd like to start a book club, a publishing club book club, where we read and review each other's books. I think it's about time.
Okay. Yeah,
So,
I like that.
yeah, so if you're interested in being the glorious president of the Macy Publishing Club, let me know. Let us know. Let's see. Of course, I want to thank our fabulous team, Sunshine, Nancy, and Marcia. Our book's done. It's ready.
Almost.
Yeah. So, right, Sunshine, or close too.
And Nancy's going to give some dates about what's coming up on that. So when you're ready to talk about that, call on Nancy.
Yeah, Nancy, go ahead.
Okay, well, thank you all for your submissions. It's really been exciting reading what you have written, and I'm very excited. This is my first Village Stories, and I just think it's going to be fabulous. So, of course, the deadline to submit stories, poems, or anything else is done. You will be receiving a PDF proof of the book to review before it goes to print. I will send out the dates to confirm that so that you have it in writing. But just if you're taking notes, September 8th, that PDF proof of the book will go out to all the members. And if you have an entry in the book, please review it. Everyone on the team has spent literally hours in going over all of the submissions, checking for, anything that might be amiss. So, and then you need to make sure that if there are any changes, you get that back to us by September 22nd. That is the deadline for any changes with the proof of the book and or the cover. And the cutoff date to publish the book is October 11th. And Sunshine, do you have any idea then when we could expect the book to be available?
Once it gets published, once I get it all the way through the process without any errors, that my goal is to have that by October 11th, I think I said, or you said. And it takes 72 hours from that point in time for it to be available. I can, after that 72 hours, then I can order author copies, okay? And we only have to pay for the printing cost and the shipping cost. So I would suggest that somebody give me a good number for how many copies I should order so we don't have to pay the shipping cost twice. Because every time you order, you have to pay shipping costs. So we'll get that right number. So hopefully we don't have to order multiple times.
Well, there are 25 authors in the book. So at least 25.
Yes.
And they're good. These are good stories, poems, songs, pictures even. You're going to love them. Yeah, it's a good book. And thank you, team. You're just fantastic.
Got a question. Does every member get a book this year or not?
Well, I would say, what do you mean? For cost? Oh, yes. Every new member gets a book. Or let's say, if you join for next year, part of your dues go for a book.
Right. So there would be one for every member. Right. And then you can order extra on top of that. So if you have an idea, you're going to get the PDF proof. You're going to be able to look not just at your own story, but you can look at other people's stories as well. And if you see something that makes you have a question, hey, it's okay to ask that question.
Right.
So that we can get the book as perfect as possible.
Exactly. Yeah, you're going to love it. So, and talk about that. If we have time at the end, we'll have a raffle. So in the chat, if you'd like to raffle your book, let me know by chat. And with that, I think that's it. So Sunshine, proceed. She's our genius.
Well, we're 3 minutes away from the 2:15. Is it okay if I say everybody look happy?
Exactly.
Yes.
Everybody look happy because I'm going to extract. Okay.
You'll have to wait a minute. I have to go shave.
Oh, okay.
I didn't say shave your whiskers. I just said look happy. Okay. Well, my presentation is about an hour, so be ready. It's coming. I did 2 presentations about self-publishing. One was way back in July of last year, and one was in November of last year. So this one, I kind of put it all together. It's all in an hour. It's called Self-Publishing with Word and KDP, and you have the document because I sent it to you.
Yes.
Okay.
I have it.
I also sent you a KDP 6x9. Now the word went away. What do you call it?
PDF.
Yeah.
We're going to snip it from the video.
Yeah.
Oh.
Anyhow, the template, that was the word I'm looking for. Okay. So you may use my template, take out everything beyond the first title and copy your stuff in there if you want it. Well, obviously rename it to your name when you're saving it. And that template already has a table of contents built. So all you need to do is take the option to rebuild, which I'm going to show you in part of this presentation. if you choose instead to download your own template from KDP, it comes with a manually built table of contents. Now, Word is really cool, so I don't know why you would ever want a manually built table of contents. So you would have to delete that and build your own. So that's why I provided my template, because it's already there, and use it if you want. Here we go. What I'm going to do first is I am going to open that template and share some things with you. Now, I open the template, and as you can see, it's showing 8 pages of my book. Some of you, I'm sure, know how to do this. This is done by going to View. Let me see, I got to get that black thing out of the way so you can see. Well, come on. Okay, you're going to have to imagine you can see the top line. There's home, there's insert, there's page, and there is one called View right about here. Let me see if I can, no, I can't get to it. There we go, yay, okay. All right, there's the one called View. So you click on View, and you can see one page. I got to get rid of this chat box. There we go. You can see one page. You can see 2 pages. You can see the page width. And if you're in the middle of a document, let me get to a page that has a lot of printing on it. You want to be in page width because you can actually see the typing fairly well. The page is as wide as your screen. There is then, the way that I got it to show multiples is I clicked on the magnifying glass, and I went to where it has a percentage, and I changed that percentage to 40, and I said, okay. And then it's showing me, now, if you can't see the last page because the Zoom pictures are there, what you want to do is you want to slide that over to the bottom. You can do that, and then it's out of the way. Okay, now it's showing 4 pages. I have it in this mode after I've written my story or whatever I'm writing, because it very easily shows whether or not things are the way I think they should be. What I'm seeing right here is the pages are all supposed to line up at the top, and the very last page doesn't. What it is, there's an extra line at the top. So I'm just going to delete that. Now all the pages line up. That's why I use the multiple page mode. It's very handy. Can you understand what I'm saying? Am I talking slowly enough?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the very first page of this document, the title. And I'm going to get to the mode where it's page width. Okay, there's the title. Now, you probably see those backwards P's, yes? Those backwards P's and the thing that says page break, that's the formatting symbols. I usually have formatting symbols on because I want to see where that page break is. I want to see where the section break is. But you don't have to have it on. What you do, if you want to turn it off, is you go to Home. There, up at the top, right next to File is Home. And then you can see, and I just about dropped my thing here. Hold on, sorry. You can see that little backwards P kind of highlighted. Whoops, come on, go away. The backwards P was there. There it is. And if you click on it, all those marks go away. But really, if you want to see where your page break is, which often you might want to see that, it's good to have it on. Okay, now we have a page break. You don't have to go enter to get to the next page. What you want to do is you want to put in a page break. How do you do that? There's home. Right next to home is insert. You click insert, and right below it is page break. You put in a page break, it breaks to the next page. Of course, I already did that, so I'm not going to click it again. That's how you get your page breaks. One other important thing is that this template that comes from KDP has all the settings for margins and stuff like that already pre-built, so that when you ask for a 6x9 book, and then you type your story or you copy your story into this template, it's going to be in the right format. You can see those. So what I want to show you is you go to page layout, and underneath at the very bottom of page layout, in very tiny letters, it says page setup. You have to go all the way over to that little arrow and you click on it. There are 3 tabs in here: margin, paper, and layout. Margins are preset by KDP to 76, 76, 76, and actually it was 6 and I changed it to 76. You can have 6 or 76, it works. They have it as portrait, that's what you want, and you have mere margins. Somebody is not muted. Whoever is coughing, can you mute? Thank you. Okay. The reason why you have mere margins is the book is bound and you're centered. So you want the centering to look centered when you open the book. Everything that we're setting up is for the whole book right here. This is for the whole book. It's not just for this section, it's for the whole book. So I'm going to say okay in a minute, but first I'm going to go to layout and look at that. In the layout, it has I don't want that. It has, the section starts with a new page, and it has 35 and 0.35. I was messing with this when I was practicing, so that's why it was not there. And this section, this one is for the section, is for the top. Okay. So, no, I'm sorry. I want this section centered. The 6 pages that we're working on right now are centered. So I'm going to go back, and that's why I had this for this section, because when I say update, I want that for this section. Okay, so I would say okay, and you can see if I were to show you the whole page, you would see that it is centered. Okay, so I've told you everything I can tell you right now about the things I were going to tell you about page 1. If for some reason I was working with someone where that somehow or other all those settings got corrupted, and they had a book where that the lines, when you tried to take it to KDP, ran off the page, the pictures ran off the page. So when I looked at the document, it had gotten totally corrupted as far as the settings. So in the document that I sent to you, I have those page settings in there. So anytime you think, you know what, this is not looking right, you can go back and you see if your page settings are set right for yourself. Okay? Okay, I'm going to go to the next page. The next page is going to be, if you published any other books, this is the place that you could put them. Place for other books published. If you don't have any other books that you published, then you could highlight this whole thing, including the page break, and delete it, and the whole page will go away. That's why you want to see the page break, because when you do the deletion, you want to make sure that you get the page break. I'm not going to delete it because I happen to like that there. The next page is where I put the actual title and author. Now, if you don't want this extra page and you want to put the author on the very first page where we only had the title, that's perfectly fine. And if you wanted to do that, you could take and delete this whole thing, including the page break. I'm not going to because I like it. Okay, our next page is where we have our copyright statement. On the very top there, you're going to have the year that this is going to be published. You're going to have the author. I put 2 question marks there, and I'm going to tell you about how I handle the 2 question marks. I'm going to close this for a second so it's bigger. Okay. You have the paragraph about all rights reserved, blah, 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 and the ISBN number. Now, if you are using the free ISBN number and you haven't defined the book in KDP yet, you're not going to know what that number is. So I put 2 question marks there, so I will know that I have to fill that out later. First edition, I know this is the first edition, so I really don't need those 2 question marks, but I put them there so I can show you the search function. Okay, so just to search, you want to be in home, and way over on the right side, there is an option, has binoculars, called Find. That opens the navigation panel over here, and as you can see, there are multiple places. I can click on this, it takes me right to it. Then I can fix that. There's another one. There's another one. So it takes me to the question marks. So anytime you have something that you're writing, you're in the middle of something, you're saying, you know, I need to go back to this, I need to do a little bit more research or whatever. If you put 2 question marks in there, which you would never have normally, then you could search for it and you could find the thing later. That takes care of our copyright page. Our next page is going to be a place for, maybe you shared your manuscript with some other people, and these other people just loved it. They had wonderful things to say about it. And so this is a place that you can have promotional information. Obviously, you need their permission. So I got mine from an email in writing, so I make sure that I say exactly what they say. Then I give the name of the person. If they have any titles, I would add the titles. If they have any books they published, I would put those out there, give them some authority. So that's that page. The next page that we're going to go to is if you choose to have a dedication to someone for the book, that's where you would put it. Okay, now we're going to come to the table of contents. This table of contents was built automatically, and it is based upon headings, which we're going to talk about in just a minute. And I'm going to talk about how you would create a table of contents if you didn't have one, and how you update the table of contents. That gets talked about just before we go to KDP. Now we're going to come to the main part of the manuscript. We're past the table of contents. Now, at the end of the table of contents, we have a section break. So let me show you how you do a section break. I lost it. Okay. Okay. Where did I define it? Did I lose the section? Well, I'll have to tell you about the section break later. This would be under well, I'll come back to that. I will come back to that, I promise. I think something got lost out of the document when I copy and pasted, you know. Things happen like that. One of the most dangerous things is editing your document because you can actually wipe out whole paragraphs. I find the back key I use on my PC, I'm sure it's different on a Mac. On my PC, I use Control and Z a lot. Let's go on. Okay, this is the first page of the real manuscript. I started with, I'm going to have a section for my poems. Then I have a subsection for my each poem that I have. And then just because I wanted to carry it to the nth degree, I have a third category. So this is header 1, this is header 2, this is header 3. Now, if you highlight this and you're in home mode, can you see how that there's a box around heading 1? It's
Yes.
good. Okay, so now let's say that you don't like how that looks and you want to fix it. You do a right click on heading 1, and the second line down says modify. You could change the font. You could change the size of the font. You could make it not bold or italicized. You could do several things to it. For instance, let's say that I wanted to make it a really huge title, and so I made it 30. And I say, okay, well, I don't really like how that looks, but I just wanted to show you how you could change things. So I'm going to go back up here again with my right click. I'm going to modify it, and I'm going to go back. And I'm going to make that 18 again, because I kind of like the 18. Okay, we're good. Okay. And obviously, the heading 2 and the heading 3 work the same way. What you want to make sure is when you are putting in pictures or when you are putting in text that you are not in a heading mode. If you accidentally are in a heading mode, it will put it in your table of contents when you build it, and it's going to look real strange. So you want to pay attention, like here we highlight this paragraph, and if I would bring the, now way over here on the, right there, it says you're in normal mode. That's what you want to do. That's where you want to be when you're typing your manuscript. That takes care of everything about the headers.
Hello.
Was there a question?
Oh, somebody's talking.
Yeah, Jerry has not muted his phone.
Jerry, mute
Is-
yourself. Thank you. Okay, one of the nice things about this, let's say that you have gotten a lot of stuff into this document and you've made your headings and everything. And after, when you're looking at it, you're saying, you know, I just don't like the way that looks. When you change that heading 1, gotta get back up there again. When you change the heading 1, it changes every heading 1 in your document. So it's kind of magical. Okay. Now we're going to go to the next page. And now I'm going to show you one more thing about this navigation panel. Right now it's in the search mode where it was showing me the searches. I'm going to go to the mode, hold on. I'm going to do that. Okay, you see these little boxes down here. We have this mode, we have this mode, and we have this mode. This mode, the one that's closest to the left, shows you your headings. So if I wanted to go to the second chapter right now, I can just click on it rather than scrolling. There it is. There's my second chapter. Now we're going to talk about it's called text alignment. all manuscripts, you always have your text in justify mode with one exception. The one exception is poetry. Poetry, you're going to put in centered mode. So if you say you have, now I noticed that I was in chapter 3, it's not in justify mode, you see, because what justify means is the margins on the right side and the margin on the left side, they're the same. This is not that way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight this whole paragraph, and I'm going to, and I am in home mode. That's home mode is where you can see it. I'm going to change it. You see there's right now it's highlighted right here that it is only the left side that's lined up. The one next to it is the centering one. The one next to that is everything on the, let's see, right side. The one next to that is the justify. And it tells you right there, align text to both the left and right margins. And what it does is if it needs to add extra space to make that happen, it does that, except for the last line of the paragraph. So I'm changing it, and there we are. Now it's justified. Okay, I'm going to go back up to the title 2 because I wanted to show you. Here we have a poem. Poems are usually centered. You don't have to go space, 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 space to try to get them centered. All you do is, let's say I had this in left, okay? And if you didn't know about centering, then you'd be putting spaces in. Well, you don't have to put spaces in. Instead, you just click on center, and there it is. Kind of cool. Now, let's see here. I wanted to also tell you about you see how on the top of the document, just above the title of the poem, you can see like a ruler there. That is also a toggle. It's right at the top of the scroll line. You can toggle between having, no, it went away, having the ruler there or not having the ruler there. And I really like having the ruler there because sometimes you go to put a picture in or you go to put something in, maybe even a poetry. You have it centered, but the indentation for paragraphs is on, which is right there. That very top little thing controls the indentation. And so now the whole thing moved over, it's not centered anymore. So, and if you see something that, you know what, it's not centered, well, it's probably that there is an indentation in your measurement, and you just take that indentation out, you put it back in the front, and there you go. It's centered nicely. Okay. There is one other thing I'm going to show you here before I get into you bringing your document into this. We already covered that one. Well, let me go to chapter 3. Okay, chapter 3 shows something. Oh, I already went through that. Okay, I went through chapter 3. I'm sorry. Okay, here we go. Third chapter. This is something you may not use, but if you need it, it's there. It's called a linked style. And that's what I use in Village Stories because I want to be able to have the title and I want to have the author name under the title. Now, but I want in the table of contents, I want that author name to show up. By the way, what I did in Village Stories is I took off the by because I wanted it not to be too long to show up. So this segment right here tells you exactly how to do that. I'm not going to go through it because it might not be something you use at all, but you have the document where it's defined. So if you ever need to do it, just follow strictly what it says here. You really must have your formatting, let's see, it's called formatting what? Symbols on, because you need to deal with it according to what it says. So anyway, that's that. Okay, the only other thing in this book so far is an afterword. That's the last page of the book. If you wanted to have a personal note about yourself, if you wanted to have a picture or a couple of pictures, that's where that goes. Okay, that takes us through all the pages of the manuscript. Now I'm going to talk about building your manuscript. If you wanted to use my template to build your manuscript, what I would do is I would highlight everything until the first heading, right there. I would highlight all of that and I would delete it with my delete key. And then I would save it under my document name, whatever my document is. I would change this title to the title of your first chapter, my chapter. Oops, T-E-R. And now you're ready to copy in from your document. Now, it has to be a document where the information is maintainable. If you try to copy in a PDF, it's not going to work. Can't do it. But if you have either Google Doc, boy, that's hard to say, or a Word doc, you can go to that document, highlight the whole thing, and then paste it in right here. So now you have your document, you have your first chapter. When you're ready for another chapter, you can just take and copy this and insert it wherever you want. You want to copy in wherever you want, wherever your next chapter is, and change it to the next chapter heading. If instead you want to use the template without my modifications to it, then that one comes with a manually built table of contents, and you would need to delete that table of contents and without deleting the section, whoops, I want to go back there. Come on, we'll go back there. Without deleting the section break, because I'm almost there. There it is. That section break needs to stay there because there's no numbering in the first 6 pages. But when the actual manuscript comes, you need numbering. So that section break is very important to keep intact. Now, when you get, I forgot to show you that, when you are in here, you need to get your page number going. So, in order to get your page numbers going, you need to, let's see, here's the page numbers. That is going to be right here. So you need to say insert, and I can't see, oh yeah, there's the insert. And then you're going to click on, and it's way over there, right? It's in the center, right underneath right underneath the heading there. You click on page numbers, you click on the arrow for page numbers, and you say format page number. And this is all in the document. You don't have to remember, write it down. And you're going to say, I want to start this at page 1, and okay. But you still haven't told it where you want to have the page numbers. So you have to go back and click on that little arrow on page number, and you say, where do I want my page number? I wanted it at the bottom. So I clicked at the bottom. I just slide over here. I don't want it there. I don't want it there. I like it in the middle. So I would click on that. And so now my page number is down there, starting at 1 at the bottom of my main document. That was the part I forgot to show you.
Hello.
Hi, I'm calling you from Dr. Sudeikis' office.
You need to mute. Yeah. Mute, mute. Hold on, I gotta find her a muter. Oh, maybe she did. Okay, now we're ready to talk about, okay, hold on, I gotta find her a muter.
I think it's Daya.
Hold on, I gotta stop the share so I can see where she's at. Daya, where are you? There, mute. Okay, she's muted. All right. Okay, so now I'm going to share. I'm just going to tell you because I don't want to go back into that document right now. No, I'll go back. I'll go back. I just changed my mind. Okay. You can't see it. Okay, I'm going to tell you because when you close, oh, there it is. I didn't lose it. It's really easy to lose things when you're trying to share documents, so I got it. Okay, I'm going to talk about the table of contents, which is right here. Now, since you already have one built, there's really nothing you need to do until you start adding your own things. Now, you saw me rename that beginning chapter. You saw me delete the rest of it. So when you do that, what you need to do, and it's hidden right now, so hold on. Can I make this smaller so I can get to it? It's reference. On your screen, I think it's right after page layout, there's reference, and I can't get to it because that black bar is over it. Okay. Minimize, no, nope. Okay, well, there is a tab there called reference. When you click on it, one of the options is to update your table. You click on update your table, and what you would see is you would see my chapter for first chapter and nothing after it, because that's what we just did. Okay, if you don't like the table of content heading in blue, which I don't like because it's lighter, you can highlight that and you can just go to your colors here. As long as you have it at home, you're going to see the colors. And I'm going to say I want it black. And I actually had to do that, interestingly enough. The last books I published, the table of contents was in orange, and I actually contacted them and said, why is it in orange? I don't like it. And they said, well, that's how it is. I realized that if I highlighted, even though it looked black, I highlighted and I say I want it in black, it actually prints in black. So I eliminated that problem by setting up my colors. Okay, so we've talked about the table of contents. We've talked about rebuild table of contents. When you ask to rebuild, it'll show you a little window that says rebuild the whole table is an option. And I always take rebuild the whole table because maybe you changed a word in the heading. Maybe the page numbers have changed. You want the whole thing to be rebuilt, and you want to do that just before your final save because you want the right table of index in your book. If you don't update that table, it won't be right. Oh, did I mention you want to save your document really, really often? How many times have you been keying something and you forgot to save and you lost something important? I've done it many times, but it's like we have to train ourselves to save. Okay, the last thing we do then, after we save our document, is we save it as an Adobe PDF. Now, I don't know what that option looks like on Mac, but I'm sure there is that option. Now we're ready to go to KDP. I am going to show you the first two things in KDP. These are if you wanted to download your own template for the manuscript and you want to download your template for the cover. So I'm going to Amazon. And I've given you at the beginning of this document the link to get here. It's kdp.amazon.com will actually get you there. What it always comes up with is the bookshelf. The bookshelf is what shows. If you don't have an account of your own, it'll come up. Sometimes it comes up with, I didn't want to do this from scratch because once I close it off, I can't bring it up through share. I have to have it already open. So if you haven't been on, it's going to prompt you for your sign on. So that would be your email address and your password. And if you're setting up for the first time, make sure you record that password so that you have it for the next time. So I've already done that, and I'm on the page that always comes up first. This is the bookshelf page. I am going to talk about how to find a template for the manuscript and a template for the cover. So you see this little help option right up here on the blue line, help. What that does is that brings up a keyword that you can search on. So to get the template for the manuscript, you just key in template, T-E-M-P-L-A-T-E, and you do search. The very first one that comes up is Paperback Manuscript Template. So you click on that. Come on, click. And you scroll down to choose a template. You can choose a blank template, and that basically would set up the numbers, the margins for whatever size book that you have defined. Or you can download a template with sample content, which basically is what I did. So I had the title page, I had this, I had this, I had this, but that does download the manually built table of contents. So when you click on one of these, it asks you where you want to download. So it has the name down here at the bottom, file name, and I would choose to download it to my download file. And when you save it, then it's going to save a zip file. And follow the directions. If you don't know how to deal with zip, I'll follow the directions in getting it out of zip that are in the book. Okay? So I'm going to cancel this. And now I'm going to go back and show you how to find the template for the cover. Okay, so we do help again. I'm already in help, but this time I key in, and I have it in the manual here. You key in KDP, tools, and resources. Long thing to type, but that's how I thought was the easiest way to get there. So it comes up with that. You're going to actually click on number 1. And then you're going to want to scroll a long ways down past the pictures until it says cover formatting resources. And you see under paperback, the second bullet says templates. You click on that. Then you're going to tell them what your template is. So what's the size? We would be selecting 6x9. That's the size of our book. We tell them how many pages it has. You see, you really can't get the right cover template until you know how many pages are in your 6x9 book. So it actually has to go up to KDP for you to know how many pages there are. Okay, so say we have 200 pages. Okay, we want the paper color of the cover to be white because we're going to overlay it with whatever cover that you have built yourself or that someone has helped you build. And then you're going to download the cover template. And again, it comes up with where do you want to store it. It's going to be a zip file that you have to unzip and copy, etc. So I'm going to back out of here. All right, I'm done sharing for now. I have one more thing to show you, and that is how you actually define your book in KDP. This is the easy part. Getting the book all right, that's the hard part. So here comes the easy part. I'm going to share with you my presentation on publishing on KDP. Those of you who were here in November, they should look very familiar. So we're going to publish our book. The very first thing you do is you sign into your account, and I always went through that. You use your email address and you use your password. And it's going to come up with the first page, which is the bookshelf page. You're wanting to create a paperback book. So you're going to click on paperback. You see that? Down, little square down on this is the left-hand side. You're going to be going through all of the questions and just filling in the answers. The answers are already filled in because I did it for my book, and this is what I'm showing you. I'm in English. I'm Sunshine Stories 2. I don't have a subtitle. If it was a series, you could define a series. It's not a series. So we're not going to define that. If this is an edition number, that was like, say you published a book a long time ago, and now you're republishing those new chapters. It's kind of really, really different. So this would be a second edition. So we don't have a second edition. You're going to put in the author name. I have Lutey. If you had a second author that you're working with, you could put in that author's name as well. And then it's time to, you have, let me see, I think 4,000 characters to tell them something exciting about your book that makes people want to read it. Mine's not very exciting. It says, Sunshine continues with her stories of daily life, poems, essays, and true stories. I need a more exciting title, but that's the way it is. You can also tell them that you own the copyright. I mean, you're writing it, you own the copyright. You can have 7 keywords that give interest to people saying, this is what it's about. I say inanimate objects tell their story. Could happen to anyone. Fortunately, life keeps happening. Song lyrics, recipes, true stories, surviving COVID-19. Those were my 7. Because my stories covered all those things. Then you have to choose a category. So, whoops, I went too far. There's 2 levels of categories. So I chose biography and autobiography. And then the second level, you can't see the one, it's scrollable. I didn't scroll it that far. I said personal memoirs. So those are the 2 categories that I chose for my book. And does the book contain anything that would be inappropriate for people under 18? I said no. And then you save and continue. And they have some more stuff. This is all about the Isbn number. Now, we've had lectures about whether you use their free or whether you use your own. I use their free. So they're going to assign me, and they assign me one. You can put in a publication date, but if you don't, when it goes live on Amazon, is automatically put in there. And then you're going to tell them about the paper. I chose black and white because I can't pay for color. Color is very expensive. Oh man, I wish I could have color because I always have pictures in my books, but that's life. And cream paper. If you're writing like something more like an instructional manual, it often is on white paper, and books, storybooks are often on cream paper. I use cream. And then I said down at the bottom, I want it to be 6x9, just like our village stories. If you have pictures, you have to answer bleed or no bleed. I said no bleed because I always make sure my pictures are small enough to fit within the size. Remember I showed you how you could have a ruler at the top? I always make sure that my pictures fit within that. If you have pictures that run over that and you have not said no bleed, you have a problem. Then I want a glossy look to my cover. Now I'm ready to upload my manuscript. So I click on upload manuscript. They ask me where it's at on my computer, so I better know. Better upload the latest one too. So I click on mine and say open, and it says processing your file. The first time you do this with your manuscript, it takes quite a long while, especially if you have a long manuscript. So it's time to go maybe have lunch. If you are doing this a second or third time because you've had changes and you're going through this process all over again, usually it's much shorter. Once it's done processing your file, it'll say successfully uploaded without that processing underneath there. Now it's time to upload your cover. Either you built a cover or somebody else built it for you. You have to have the PDF on your computer because it has to be uploaded. So you upload your PDF cover. And again, it asks you where it's at in your computer. You choose the right thing and you say open, and it starts loading your cover, and it'll tell you when it's done loading, and it loaded it successfully. Now you're ready for the most important part. You're going to launch the previewer. Now, when I launch the previewer, it tells me that the screens are going to be too small to preview, and they're absolutely right. There's no way you can actually read that and preview it, but you can get a really good idea of how everything is fitted into your pages nicely. You move forward and backwards. They have arrows on both sides. I moved it in a little bit and took a picture of where my index started. I mean, table of contents started, my preliminary picture. Now, the most important part here, you want to go up right in the corner here, and you want to download a PDF proof. So you take that option, it says, where do you want to download it? I gave it a special name. I said XX in front of my book so that I could get to it fast and easy. And then I say open. Once you have that, you're going to be reviewing that very closely. So you can go ahead and sign off KDP and open your PDF proof. Okay, so we open the PDF proof. Sometimes when you open in Adobe, it has a side panel, which makes you smaller. You can click on a little arrow and that panel will go away. And so it's a little bit bigger. Now, when you're actually on your computer, it's a lot bigger than this because this is fitted into something that I can show you on Zoom. But you can also think about whether or not you want to take this to a printer and have them printing. Most of the printers I know, if you have 100 pages or more, they have a fairly cheap price to print your book. Print your whatever you're printing. Then you have a hard copy that you can look at and you can make sure and you can modify if something needs to be modified. So I did that. And now the first time, like I say, I'll tell you about that later. I did order a hard copy of the book, not a hard copy, it's a paperback copy. I did order the copy of the book, but then I had to throw away when I was done because it had markings all over saying it was approved and it was no good. So anyhow, so this is where you want to be reviewing. After you reviewed your PDF proof 1,000,000 times, updated the Word document, saved it, and created the PDF, you'll be ready to sign into KDP again, and the bookshelf will be displayed. Now your book is going to be displayed. And so you're going to say, continue setup. When you say continue setup, it's going to take you through all those pages where you put in the values like the title of the book, your name, all that stuff. It's going to take you through it all. And then it gets to the part where it says upload your manuscript. And so you're going to upload your manuscript. And you're not likely to have to upload the cover because you didn't change the cover. Unless the number of pages changed. We'll get into that later. Okay. So I say continue setup. I went through all the pages. I said, launch the previewer, and I see the book. Oops, I'm going to go back one page. Now this time, if I gone in and I see things wrong with the book, or I want to download the PDF proof again and see if all the changes I made are there. What happens a lot of times when you try to make a change to a document, you can accidentally change something you didn't mean to change. So if you had a printed proof that you manually updated and said, this is what I want to do, you can look at that proof versus the new one, and you can see whether or not all the changes got made correctly. And that is my recommendation. Once you're happy with it, you've gone through this as many times as you want to go through it, there's no limit, then instead of saying exit from the previewer, you want to say approve. You click approve and it comes to more pages. Obviously, some of the pages are going to have the same values that you had before, but that's okay. What we're interested on this page is we're going to continue with the setup. You say, I want it in all territories, or I want individual territories. I want it in all territories. I want to publish it wherever it can be published. And then they have, you probably can't see this because it's really tiny, but they have a range. The minimum price, the maximum price. It says $6.12 to $250. I picked $7. Now, if you want it to be sold in all of the expanded territories, you need to go over here and click this arrow to see the price range in each one of the places, because the price range might be slightly different, and maybe the price you chose doesn't fit, and so you have to choose a different price for that. All right. Then you can request a printed proof of the book if you really want to. It's free except for the shipping. So if you've done that and you click now publish your paperback book, it comes up with your what you're going to ask for. You can have up to 5 at a time. Now, like I say, these books come with black all over them. They're really no good to give to anybody unless you are at that point looking for somebody to really edit what it really looks like in the book. I mean, that's a possibility. You might want to do that. So, and then you say where you're going to place your order, and my order is in Amazon. Now you want to say, I'm going to publish my paperback book. So they say, okay, we're going to review the book to make sure that it meets all standards. If it passes, then in 72 hours, it'll be available on Amazon. If it doesn't pass our review will email you. During their review, the book will say in review and you can't change it. After it passes it, then it's going to be live. So when it's live, that's what it looks like. Then once it's live, if you want to order author copies, that's a lot cheaper than buying them because they cost $7 online. You can order author copies. So I'm going to order in author copies of the one I just did. And so I said I want 10 copies. You can order up to $999. And it's going to be at Amazon. So I submit my order. It actually goes to Amazon, your shopping cart. And it doesn't show on here what the shipping cost is. I think it was about $7 or $8 for my 10 books that I ordered. That's it. You've just published your book. And so I say, happy publishing. Okay, I'm going to stop the share. Hi guys, do you have any questions?
Well done, Sunshine.
Thank you. Thank you.
That was a lot to
Yeah, thank
absorb.
you.
Well, that's why I gave you a printout of the whole thing. You even,
Yes.
you even have, it's 47 pages long. So if you really want to print it, or maybe take it to a printer and have it printed, you could get that done too. Because all of the little screens that I just showed you are in this document that I sent you.
Yeah, excellent, Sunshine. Excellent. That's amazing.
I'm not going to worry about the minor errors that I made in it. Maybe one day, if I ever do it again, I can fix the errors.
Well, it was superb. And it's a lot to remember, especially for people like me. But excellent. Yeah, thank you so much.
And now Harold is going to do his own book, right, Harold? Love to you, Harold. Okay. Anyway, guys, I managed to accomplish that in the hour that I promised. So,
Okay. Well, should
Thank
we
you very
go?
much.
Should we go ahead with a lottery?
I do have a Sunshine's 2 that I could lottery off.
Okay. And I've got My Babies, My Promises by Nancy to lottery raffle. So you guys, whoever wins will enjoy this. The rest of you can buy it on Amazon. So Sunshine, you want to offer yours to raffle? Anyone else interested in raffling your book? Okay, so Sunshine's book, what's the name of it? Sunshine?
Sunshine 2. I'm sorry, Sunshine Stories 2.
Sunshine Stories 2. Okay. The winner of Sunshine Story 2 is Alan Rankin.
Do you already got that one? Alan?
He's not here.
No, he's not here. Okay.
Alan.
Do they have to be here to win?
Let's say they have to be here to win. But the problem is I've got everybody's number in here. And so to find the right numbers for these guys.
I gotta go. I gotta
Okay,
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay. Thank you, Sunshine.
Thank
You're
you.
wonderful. So the
I
second,
need to leave as well. I'm sorry, Peggy, but I need to leave as well.
okay, Michael, thanks for coming.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, thank you. And so the second book is one by Harold Lee. So he's here. So Nancy, you can send, I will send Harold your book because I've
Great.
got it. So
Okay, enjoy, Harold.
yeah, Harold's a wonderful author. So I love his books. So, okay, everybody. I hope you learned a ton. And next meeting, everybody will have a new book to show off. Anyway, we will.
And Peggy,
Yes.
I will send out an email to everyone reminding them of the dates. And I will also attach the 2 documents that Sunshine showed us today, just in case you lost those.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sure.
And again, thank you, Nancy, Marcia, and Sunshine. It was so easy this year. Previous years, publishing was really so difficult. So bye, kitty cat. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye. Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you for attending. Ellen. I attended Ellen's poetry reading. So good. She's such a good poet.
You. Thank you.
Yeah. And here's Dennis. Dennis, you're going to be a storyteller, right? On September 22nd. And Jerry, can't wait to hear your story. Anyway, adios, everybody. See you September 22nd.
Hasta mañana.
Hasta mañana.
Thank you.
Thank you.